everyone, welcome back in another video. I'm Vaibhav. Today, date is 23 of August 2022, and our today's video topic is inter-thread communication. So, inter-thread communication comes into the multi-threading. So, inter-thread communication means it is an mechanism in which the uh, one thread can release its lock and goes in a waiting stage. After that, another thread will execute its works and it invoke its work and perform their operation. After the completion of operation, it notify to that thread which is in waiting stage, and that thread can perform its operation, and that cycle will be continuous until the our uh, until the condition is satisfied. Or in another word, we can also call as it's allowed to communicate between the synchronized classes, between the synchronized methods to communicate with each other. So basically, all those communications should done by using the three object methods. So those methods are wait. Those methods are wait. After that, next one is notify, and then notify all. Let's see what is a wait method. Before going this, we see syntax for the wait method. We can write the syntax for the wait method. Wait method like public static wait. Within after that there is a parenthesis, and after that there is a throws. So why we use throws? Because our wait method is a checked exception. That's why we have to write the throws after their syntax. Okay. So wait method means whenever any thread call the wait method, that time that method release its logs and goes in a waiting stage. So goes in a waiting stage. So waiting stage are also having some also having their different two types. These types are like waiting for some specific time. That means we are putting that any thread on a hold, or on a or in a phase of waiting stage, or in a pause stage for a specific time. After that time, it again works itself. Okay. And another type is thread is in a waiting stage until another thread notify the thread which is in waiting stage. That means there are two threads. One is in waiting position and another is in execution position. When our second thread can notify to the first thread, until that time that thread is comes in a waiting stage. So that means whenever any thread call to the whenever any thread uh, call to the wait method, that time that that method can release its locks and goes in a waiting stage for some specific time, or for some until notified by another thread. That is the wait method. Okay. After that, next one is the notify. So notify method means when any thread is in the condition of waiting, by using notify method, we can invoke, or we can wake up those thread which is in waiting position by um, by acquiring their locks, and we are again execute those thread which is in waiting or pause condition or state. That is our notify state. And third one method is notify all. That means uh, that means notify all means all those threads which are in waiting stage. By using notify all method, we are wake up all those thread which is in waiting stage at a time. That means we are using a notify for wake up for a single thread, and we using notify all for a number of threads, or for a multi threads, for the wake up in the multi threads. That is the three methods which by using those methods we are achieving the communication between inter-thread communication. Okay. So when we using this method with the let's we see with the one example. That example is like that. Suppose there is a one vehicle showroom is there. With the we can see sorry we can see this concept with the consumer and producer problem. So consumer producer problem or statement is like that. Let's suppose a vehicle manufacturing company is a producer and the vehicle seller showroom is the consumer. Okay, vehicle manufacturing plant can produce the vehicles and showroom can sell those vehicle or consume those vehicle. Okay, so in that scenario, the vehicle manufacturing plant are having its capacity. So it has their parameter. Let's suppose it having a capacity of 100 vehicles at a time. That means when that manufacturing plant can produce 100 vehicles, that time that producer goes in a waiting stage. Waiting stage for some specific time or for a until notified by another thread. Okay, it goes in a waiting stage. And in another scenario, there is our showroom, which are scenarios like that showroom are also having capacity of 10 vehicle, and it's consuming the vehicle one by one and it's selling that vehicle. But it has that parameter. It will consume vehicle until that showroom having vehicle less than vehicle are having less than greater than four vehicles in a showroom. That means they are having capacity of 10 vehicles, they're selling that vehicle, but they are not waiting until all those vehicles are empty. That means they having some buffer, the some time of buffer or some buffer of their data or buffer of their vehicles. When that showroom are having or remaining there three vehicles, that time that showroom can notify to the producer or that consumer can notify to the producer for their source, for their data, for their vehicles to get that vehicle. That means the consumer notified to the producer for their requirement, and that time that producer comes again into the working stage. That means is transfer their data to the consumer and it works again. That time, that in this scenario, when the vehicle in showroom are less than 3, that time the showroom is in waiting stage until you receiving the vehicle from the producer. That means it is in waiting stage until it's notified from the showroom that what is that the lot is ready for sending in a showroom. That time it's produced. That means that producer can notify to the consumer for their data or for their vehicles. That is the one scenario in which all those conditions are happen. That means the showroom are waiting for the consumer, and consumer are waiting. That means there is a one buffer between them. That buffer can accessible by the showroom and by the producer. Those are having access that consumer. If the capacity of that buffer is full, that time producer can goes for a wait condition, and consumer continuously work its continuously. After that the buffer is reduced, or after the lag of that buffer, that consumer will be wait until the producer can enter their data within that buffer or within that space. So that is the overall about inter-thread communication. Thank you.